Shaking Penny. Okay.
Our unofficial mascot.
Penny! Knock it off! No, I'm done.
Hello, people have joined.
Still feedback.
Do you have yours on headphones?
No, I don't have headphones. Last time they were borrowed.
That's probably why there's still feed.
Hang on. Woo.
Okay.
Okay, what about now?
And I'm still not getting you on the computer.
Still?
Let's see.
Hello.
I don't think. Okay. I don't think we're getting feedback now.
Okay.
Okay, hello everybody on Instagram. Thank you for joining us.
Hello. Sorry about the technical difficulties there.
I am still not hearing you through the computer though. Okay. Bluetooth device. It says it's connected. Is the mic on or off on your computer?
It's on. It's like the little thing on the side is showing green every time I talk because it's recording it and everything.
Maybe it's just my headphones aren't. Whatever. I really hope that anybody who's on our other lives can hear us. And if not, well, then I'll figure it out. I'll repost it later.
Okay.
Okay. Hi, Erin. Hey, Erin, do me a favor. Go over to our YouTube and see if it's streaming there, please. You might. All right. Ghosts of Christmas.
Yeah. Is it just us tonight?
Oh, I totally forgot to ask Eve. Go ahead and start, and I'll see if Eve wants to join.
Okay. Well, let's see. So we wanted to do ghost stories tonight. Because of the Victorian tradition of telling ghost stories on Christmas Eve. Correct?
That is correct.
And I have found a little ghost story from where I live in New Orleans that I was going to tell. It's not very long though, so I can't take up a whole hour with it. So I'm hoping that we have other ghost stories to tell as well, or we can look some up, but I don't know. But the ghost story that I have for us tonight is there are a few different things that it's known by. I originally looked this up by let me see. It was the frozen ghost on top of a house on Royal Street. So Royal Street
Yes.
is part of the French Quarter in New Orleans. And this ghost story can also be found as the legend of the Octoroon Mistress on Wikipedia, which had a little bit more information than the website I originally found it on. But not a whole lot more information. We do know that the female ghost's name was Julie, but we don't know her full name. And the legend is that it was during the 1850s, and during this time, first of all, it was appropriate to use the term octoroon, which we do not use anymore. And basically, what that meant was someone who was 1/8 black. And Julie was an octoroon. So she had beautiful black hair, really dark eyes. She was part black. Because of that, she was very pretty, and she was okay to have as a mistress, but it was not acceptable to take Julie as a wife because she was not fully white. And so during this time, I guess it was pretty customary to have someone that was part black as your mistress if you were of like a wealthier family. You would have a mistress, but you weren't allowed to marry them. And so she was in love with a Frenchman. They don't give his name at all. And he very much loved her as well and had her as a mistress, but she very much wanted to marry him. And he kept telling her no, that was not going to be an option, that they were never allowed to get married. And she would bring it up all the time. So one year on Christmas Eve, he told her that he was going to play a card game with his friends. And while he was entertaining his guests, he wanted her to strip completely naked and wait on the rooftop for him until he was done. So he thought that she wouldn't do this. He thought he was more joking around. But she did. And he continued to play card games with his friends for a very long time and kind of forgot about what he told Julie to do in the first place. And she just waited patiently for him in the cold, just waiting up on the rooftop for him to come get her once he was done. And he finally made his way to bed and realized that she wasn't there. And he was like, oh, crap, did she really go to the roof like I told her to? And he goes up there to find her. And when he got up there, he saw that she was naked and had frozen to death in the cold. And so legend has it that if you go to the same building on Royal Street, and it gives the exact address, but I mean, I don't think that's necessary. It's currently a tarot shop at this point in time. But if you go there, what was that?
I didn't know that they turned it into a tarot shop.
Yeah. But if you go there in December, you'll see Julie waiting for this Frenchman naked on the rooftop of this building. And she would often be found inside the building. She was a very playful and happy spirit. And they say that if you go into, let me see, it was the... I think if you go to the garden outside, you will find the Frenchman, and he is very sad and depressed still.
Mm.
And that's basically the story. When I originally heard the story from Emily, it was a little better in that he had told her that there was a storm coming, and he couldn't withstand the storms that would happen in their marriage because of them not being allowed to marry each other any more than she would be able to weather the storm outside, and that so that she went out there on the rooftop naked to prove to him that she could weather the storm, but instead froze to death. But any of the stories that I was able to find online didn't say that about the storm. So that's why I told the story that I was able to find. But I like the storm idea better. I think that's really very sad.
Yeah, I saw it on oh freaking hell, I don't remember what it's called. One of them ghosty shows. From my it's called ghosty shows.
We have a very whiny Penny next to me, so I apologize for that. Do you want to say hi?
Okay. So what are some other good New Orleans ghost stories?
Honestly, most of the ones that I could find are really tame. They really don't like. It's supposed to be the most haunted city in America, and the ghost stories are just terrible, and they just want you to go on the ghost tours downtown. Like, they're all websites for going on a ghost tour, and they don't tell you the whole story because they don't want to tell you the whole story online. They want you to go and do their ghost tour. And they all seemed really lame, and I was very frustrated with that.
Yeah, see, the problem I kept running into is go away. Sorry. That everything is in books, and I don't have the books.
Right. That's fair too.
Let's see. Oh, we've got this. The wandering statue of Storyville, Madame Josie Arlington's cemetery tomb.
Okay.
I don't think it's a Christmas one, but let's read it.
Yeah.
The former tomb of infamous Storyville Madame Josie Arlington, the statue is said to come to life and wander the cemetery, and the granite flames on top ignite into real flames on the anniversary of her death. Arlington's remains were removed from the tomb after her heirs spent all her money and were forced to sell the tomb. Sex scandal and even moving a dead body all go into the tale of. Am I saying that right? Metairie?
Metairie. It's just Metairie.
Okay. Metairie? I don't know. Half a new
Or some people say Metairie.
Metairie. That's what I get for like trying to say it all French. Shows me. Since she couldn't buy her way into high society during her life, she bought a glorious tomb to hold in her death. But if she thought her tomb caused a stir when she was alive, the tomb after her death brought downright chaos. Legend has it banging can be heard coming from the tomb during the night. So I will get these pictures and I will post them to Instagram when I'm done. We're at verylocal.com, which I think I sent you that link before.
Yeah. Yeah, that was where I found the naked ghost on the rooftop, but then I found more information on Wikipedia for that story.
I'm going to see if there's more about this chick's moving tomb. Let's find out.
Yeah.
Madame Josie Arlington.
Now, I do know with New Orleans cemeteries, you do kind of have to keep paying the church to keep your space and to pay for the cleaning of the cemetery itself. So I think what they're saying is that her daughter spent all of her money and couldn't afford to keep up with paying for the spot in the cemetery. And that is how it works. If you don't keep paying for it, then you can't stay there. So
Yeah. Well, and it's a really like big old fancy thing. You know, I will send you a picture of it because I can do that easily.
here's Penny again. Here's Penny being
And then I'll
silly.
put it in our show stuff. Sorry, everybody else, that you'll have to wait until the show's over. Yes, and they have, so Ask a Mortician has a really good explanation of how they do a lot of the tombs in New Orleans, because you guys have the above ground tombs.
Correct.
And I had no idea how they worked until I watched her. She did it with like this little matchbox thingamajig. Because the tombs, a lot of the tombs you'll see in New Orleans, because they can't bury them in the ground because of the floods and stuff. So
And
you'll see
we're below sea level.
Yeah. So you'll see the double-decker tombs like this, and the family member will be buried here until they've been in there long enough to decompose, or the next person needs to be buried.
Mm-hmm.
So empty out the casket and shove the bones to the back and then we'll drop.
Right. Oh, I can't hear you all of a sudden.
Oh no.
Now I can. You're back.
Okay. Did you see? Okay, so I just sent it to you.
Yeah, I did see the picture.
Yeah. So it's a big tomb. So here we go. We've got this on Wikipedia. I'm just going straight off of Wikipedia, people. I guarantee nothing about the validity of any of this, but I mean, that's most ghost stories.
Right.
All right. Arlington was born Mary Dubler in New Orleans to German parents. Although shrewd, Arlington was known to be short-tempered and violent. Okay, but shrewd is tempered and violent. How is that? How is this different? Whatever. She began working as a sex worker in 1881, supporting her family on her earnings, and opened a brothel at 172 Custom House Street prior to the murder of her brother, Peter Dubler, in November 1890. Oh, look, this story's like way more interesting than that little article. Hi, Penny. Let on.
She's just sitting next to me whining, so I'm like, fine, you can be on the camera too.
Seriously, I'm just gonna have to like make her up a little thing. Okay, but I'm asking if you can hear me, Aaron. Because that's a problem if you can't hear me. Fudging freaking drama. It's been working perfectly fine with the headphones. I don't know why it wants to be jumped. So this is a really interesting, way more interesting than it let on YouTube. Yes. Okay, then we're good. Thank you, Aaron. Yay. Okay, so it's just I don't know what's going on with my computer, but that's okay. Okay, so at that point, so this is after her brother was murdered in November of 1890. Miss Mary Dubler was also using the surname of Mrs. Philip Lebrano for professional purposes. She had been with Lebrano since the age of 16 when he had offered her protection. Now remember, this is the 1800s, so 16 was pretty normal for back then.
Right.
I don't know if it says how old he was. Lebrano and Peter Dubler had a drunken verbal altercation, and Peter had followed Lebrano from a bar to the Custom Street premises. While the witness accounts were disputed for years, Philip Lebrano claimed that he shot Peter Dubler in the face in front of his sister Josie in self-defense. So her boyfriend killed her brother.
Nice.
Yeah, in front of her.
Right.
So he was shot in November and he died December 9th, 10 days after being shot. On March 31st, 1892, Philip Lebrano was acquitted after a second trial. In the meantime, Josie had cut all business and romantic dealings with Lebrano. Duh, you think. I don't know, might have something to do with her killing her brother, and had sought to become more respectable. Josie's decision helped her business-wise. In the 4 or 5 years from her brother's death, she had shed her former reputation. She had taken a new paramour, John Tom Brady, who was the clerk in a city treasurer's office. She and Brady had visited the Arlington Hotel in Hot Springs, Arlington Hotel in Hot Springs, Arkansas, and she had taken a new. Oh, whoa! I totally line. Arlington, blah, blah, blah. No, okay. She and Brady. Wait, why am I doing this? Treasurer's office. And she witnessed firsthand a luxurious lifestyle and resolved to emulate it back at her brothel. She changed the name to the Chateau Lebrano d'Arlington and began to hire. Why is she still working with Lebrano's name? Whatever. And began to hire foreign girls to increase the appeal to upscale customers. At this point, she began making business deals with Tom Anderson, who operated a nearby restaurant, which she renamed the Arlington. I cannot read today, apparently. Sorry. Anderson caught wind of Alderman's Story ordinance to create a regulated prostitution district before Mosted, and he and Josie acquired choice properties on Basin Street near the entrance to the future Storyville area. So Storyville era in 1898, when Storyville was established, Arlington moved her operations to a 4-story frame mansion at 225 North Basin Street. The house, now demolished, can easily be identified by its distinctive onion-domed cupola. Help me out here. Is that how you say it?
What? Cupola?
Okay.
I don't know.
Oh, what did they do? Its renovation reportedly cost $5,000. Why does it say the house now demolished can be easily identified?
I'm not sure, but for the most part, as far as I know, Storyville has been demolished completely. I don't believe that any of Storyville remains.
Somebody messed it up their tenses. The establishment, formerly named Chateau Lebrano d'Arlington, but locally known as the Arlington, was known for its opulence. As an expensive $5 house, it offered about 10 or 12 girls at a time. Inflation calculator. I want to know what $5 house is in today's terms. So that's, what did I say it was?
A $5 house, you said?
Yes. Hold on a second. I hit the wrong inflation calculator. That one only goes from 1900 forward. There we go. Inflation calculator. If it was $5 in 18. What year did I say it was?
1890 was when the brother was killed, right?
Yeah, so
it's around there. 5 years later.
1898. Okay, 1898 to 2000. Value a few dollars. $168. So yeah, that's still pretty cheap for a night in a hotel.
Right.
Hotel. Where was I at? Oh, it had a live sex circus that could be viewed for an extra fee.
Yeah. Yeah, they had that in Storyville.
So there's that.
Storyville is funny. Like, it was the red light district, but it was completely legal. It sounds to me a lot like the movie Sin City, where they
Okay.
have like the brothel area and the police just leave them alone and they leave the police alone. It was kind of like that. So it was legal to have there. And the person that there was Councilman Story is who it's named after, because he was the one that kind of made it legal to be in this one section. It was like, if you're over in this section and you leave us, the rest of us alone, then we'll leave you alone. And so they named it Storyville after him, and he was so pissed off. So that's why it's called Storyville, is because the guy that set it up, his last name was Story, and they're like, this is your town, Story. And he's like, no, it's not.
All I'm saying is, if I had the last name Story, I'd have to like name my kids shit like Fable.
Right. That's true.
I'm going to be so disappointed if I look at that family tree and they didn't take advantage of that last name.
Oh, I'm sure he didn't. But yeah, so Storyville, the reason why it eventually got shut down was because the sailors liked visiting Storyville a lot, and they started getting a lot of STIs. And so then they were like, okay, shut it down. But there are a lot of fun, there's a lot of fun history about Storyville. And I did a college project on a photographer who took pictures of all of the different prostitutes in Storyville. So that's my little 2 cents on that.
That's cool. See, this is what's good about having you live in the area.
Mm-hmm.
You know what we're talking about. I will have to see if I can find like a picture of the house from back then.
Mm-hmm.
So what I can find, I will be sure to, include in the show shit.
Right.
I love how I can never just call it what it is. It's not show notes, because I'm too lazy. That's a lie. I'm too busy to do show notes. But I put the stuff on the social media, so whatever you want to call that. I'm sure somebody has a better thing to call it. It's not me. Though it had a reputation for depravity, Josie claimed that no virgin was ever defiled or exploited by her business. I mean, unless they were already working in the sex trade before they got there.
Right.
The Arlington was damaged in a fire in 1905, and Madame and her girls were taken in temporarily by Tom Anderson, a saloon keeper and friend/lover of Arlington. Anderson's establishment gained the nickname the Arlington Annex as a result. Arlington closed the business in 1909 and retired. Many of her assets were bought by Tom Anderson. Death and burial. Arlington died in 1914 and was buried at the, how did you say it is? The Metairie Cemetery, in a tomb designed by Albert Weblin. I know that name.
The Metairie Cemetery is really cool. I have been there. It's really big, and it has so many above ground tombs, and it's really cool. And like the statues, and it's awesome.
I'm just looking at this because I swear I know other tombs that this guy designed, but I guess not. Whatever. What did I do? I pushed buttons. That's what I did. The grave features a bronze female figure, which has been said to leave its post at the door of the monument and walk around the other graves. The mausoleum quickly became a tourist attraction, which left Arlington's family mortified. The body was later moved to another location within the same cemetery. The monument still stands, and deceased members of the Morales family are now held within it. The bronze female figure is thought to symbolize a virginal girl being turned away from the Arlington door, following Arlington's claim that in life no woman's innocence was taken on the grounds of her establishment. Oh, there's a book about this. Madam, a novel of New Orleans by Carrie Lynn and Kelly Martin. I'm going to have to look that up. All right. Okay, your turn.
My turn. Okay.
Your turn.
Hang on 1 second.
Yeah, if you go to like verylocal.com, Haunted Nola.
Yeah, I did look that up. Sorry, 1 second.
Yeah, because I swear I sent you that. Group.
You did.
Whatever.
My computer's just not cooperating with me right now. I'm trying to send a message for someone to let the dogs out because they are whining, but my computer is not cooperating and letting me send a message.
Oh, joy.
So y'all might just have to keep hearing the dogs whine forever because there's nothing I can do about it. Okay, so I'm looking at the same website, and I was kind of looking at the Beauregard Keys house, but there's not a lot of information on that. It's like not even a full paragraph. And then I looked up Wikipedia, and it had nothing either. So
yeah, it has like nothing.
Yeah. I was like, oh, never mind. You won't have more information.
You got some haunted hospitals and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there's a ghost dog on St. Roach Avenue. The entrance. That. Oh my god. Did I mention I can't word today?
Okay, so the St. Roch Cemetery apparently has both a priest and a dog that haunt it. And out front there are 2 angel statues that lost their wings in a hurricane. That sounds very fitting. That's not where I'm gonna end things, but I just wanted to I just like that there's a cemetery haunted by a dog. That's cute.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this sounds like a fun one. I don't know. It's at least a full paragraph, so we'll go with this. When the devil lived on St. Charles Avenue and ate his wife.
Okay, let's roll with that.
The legend goes that the devil just decided sometime in the 1820s to live in New Orleans, probably because he was used to its infrastructure and weather. That I do like thinking about that. The devil's just like, yeah, I'm going to live in New Orleans for a while. Like, that sounds accurate. That's a place where he would go.
Mm-hmm.
Around 1840, Old Scratch took one Madeline Freneau as his wife and built a mansion for her at 1319 St. Charles Avenue. While some say the mansion appeared overnight, others say it was built in just 7 days. The devil's pale, dark-haired mistress, think a French Elvira, loved the new house, which was reportedly staffed by little red demon cooks, housekeepers, and servants, like an eternally damned Downton Abbey. When the devil went out of town...
how do you get a little red cook?
What was that?
A little red demon cook? Where do you get one of those?
I don't know, but I need one.
Right?
Or I could...
Like, seriously, I imagine them making some bomb-ass Cajun food.
Oh, yeah. And also deviled eggs for Mardi Gras. That was a traditional, old-timey Mardi Gras snack. Was deviled eggs. Deviled eggs and milk punch.
Oh, deviled eggs are so good.
And our first Mardi Gras here, after we moved here, we made deviled eggs and milk punch. and took them with us to Mardi Gras. And actually, milk punch is delicious. It sounds so gross, but it's delicious.
Yeah, it really does. I'm like, the fuck is milk punch?
I was like, I don't want this. Like, even looking at the recipe, I was like, I don't want this. My partner's like, but it's traditional. We have to make this for our first Mardi Gras. And it was actually like, I'll have to look it up in a second. So let's finish reading this, and then I will look up milk punch and tell you what's in it and how gross it sounds, but it's delicious. When the devil went out of town on business, Madeline began an affair with a local Creole gentleman named Alcide Cancieni. The two carried on for some time. One can imagine the demon servants placing bets on whether the tryst would turn out badly. Spoiler alert, it did. And that's the whole story that they have there. It still didn't say what happened. I might have to look her up. But first we're going to look up milk punch.
You'll have to like send me a recipe that I can put in our stuff.
Yeah, I could probably do that. Yeah, it's brandy or bourbon, sugar, vanilla extract, spice, usually nutmeg, and milk. And it sounds so bad, but it was delicious and refreshing. It was actually really good.
I'm good.
Yeah, you don't have to drink it. That's fine. But it sounds so much worse than it is. I thought it was going to be awful, and it was really yummy. But traditionally now, that's not what you bring to Mardi Gras. From what we could tell from the Mardi Gras we did get to go to, we only got to go to one because 2020 didn't have Mardi. Well, 2020 had Mardi Gras because it was the super spreader event before we knew about the coronavirus. 2021 didn't have Mardi Gras. So 2022 should have Mardi Gras, but so we only went to the one. And from what I can tell, everybody goes to Popeyes. And they just get a bucket of chicken. And then they just hang out on the sidewalks eating Popeyes chicken and waiting for the parades.
Popeyes is pretty good.
I mean, it is. I'm not complaining.
Freaking love their shrimp.
So let me see if I can look up. Oh, yeah. Look up this woman's name and see if we can find. Oh, I went up to find her. Let's see. What was her name? Madeline Frenau. Okay, hang on.
Mm-hmm. All right, while you're looking her up, I'm going to go for the story of the Mistletoe Bride. So this is not in New Orleans. This is in the UK. Let's see. The legend of the Mistletoe Bride has been retold for centuries and has taken many forms. While the story's true origin is difficult to determine, many have come to believe its roots are in the disappearance of Lord Lavel's bride at the Bramshire house in Hampshire, England. Allegedly, Lord Lavelle was preparing to wed a young woman related to Sir John Cope, the owner of Bramshill House. This was around Christmas time, so mistletoe hung throughout the mansion, inspiring the wedding party to play a game. The young bride-to-be would hide somewhere in the mansion. I have heard this story before. I know this one. The groomsmen would all seek her out, and whoever found her first would get to kiss her. So the bride went to hide, and the wedding party sought to find her. However, the minutes turned into hours, and they still could not find her. Eventually, the game turned terribly serious, as no matter where they looked, she remained missing. Not until 50 years later did Lord Lavelle, still seeking answers to his bride's disappearance, happen upon a secret closet in an upstairs room of the Bramshill house. Inside, he found a wooden chest sealed shut with a lock. Upon opening the chest, he found the nearly unrecognizable remains of his bride.
Oh, wow. 50 years later?
Yeah. I remember hearing this one on, oh my gosh, which podcast was it? I'm just going to throw out every podcast I've been listening to lately, and it's one of them. So it could have been the historical AF. It could have been Ye Old Crime Cast. It could have been Horrible History, and it could have been Encyclopedia Obscura. Because
Okay.
slight possibility it was Bailey Sarian, but I'm pretty not sure it wasn't her. It was one of them that I heard that story on. Okay, did you find your stuff?
There's nothing about her on Wikipedia, so I found something on another website, but I'm trying to find the actual names, and it's talking about some girl named Camille instead of Madeline for now. So I'm confused.
Speaking of last names. Okay, but imagine if like your maiden name was Story and then you had for now. So like you did first name Story for now.
Uh-huh.
I need to know. People need to tell me what name would go best in front of that.
That's a good point. Yeah. Send it in.
Let us know.
Okay, so I found the story, but it seems long.
Okay, well, hold on. I have to tell people how to get a hold of us.
Okay.
Because you can reach us on any of our social media platforms, which the links are in the bio, or you can email us at historyandshit@gmail.com. But yeah, tell us. Come up with your best ones. We'll read them on the next episode.
Mm-hmm.
If your middle name was Story and your last name was For Now, what does your first name need to be? I need answers.
Yes. Also, did we ever get any submissions on LBJ?
Oh, I should.
Oh wait, that's not.
No, wait, because we haven't run that
yet.
episode yet.
We haven't aired that. Never mind. I didn't say nothing.
So that brings us to, well, you're still looking at your stuff. We did start Inappropriate History. I think if you've been following our social media stuff, you should have seen that. We are on Podbean currently with that, and it's all about the not safe for work aspects of history. And the last episode we recorded, which is coming out in 2 weeks? No, that's not right. No, it was last Sunday, not this Sunday, so the next Sunday. Yeah, 2 weeks, I think. Whatever, it's coming out in a couple of Sundays or one Sunday. We did Lyndon B. Johnson.
Right.
So
Okay.
if you pop over to Podbean and listen to that, you'll know what Moxie is talking about.
Exactly. Okay, so I found a little bit more on this story of Madeline for now. And apparently it's a much bigger story, so I'm not sure. So apparently this demon man was married to someone named Camille, and we're skipping over that part of the story. He built a house for his mistress, Madeline for now. And she lived in luxury in this mansion that he built for her. But let's see. He was often busy, leaving her lonely and bored, so she took another lover, as we said in the previous reading, Alcide Cancieni. Failing to consider the diabolical nature of her first lover, or even the common inhibition to keep her affair a secret, Miss Freneau dined openly with her new lover in the mansion's main dining room. During one of these occasions, the house's master returned and asked for his identity, and he named himself as Miss Freneau's lover. That night at dinner, Alcide told his lovely mistress that the devil had told him he could have Miss Freneau and $13,000 if they would take the name Mr. and Mrs. L. Mrs. Freneau was delighted and told Alcide that they should be together forever. Alcide...
Wait. What year is this so I can do the inflation calculation?
I believe the 1840s.
Okay, 1840. And how much was it?
It was $13,000.
$13,000. All right, so let's see, 13,000 Calculate, and that would be $415,325.
Damn.
That's a lot of money.
So Alcide laughed at her and told her that he was bored with her and wouldn't keep her even for such a fortune. Enraged, Madeline leapt across the table and killed Alcide. Her first lover then entered, laughing. He delighted in the horrific scene and celebrated promptly by eating both Alcide and Madeline. For many years after this, the house on St. Charles Avenue sat empty, but eventually a few intrepid families dared to occupy the mansion. The reports of the haunting there were terrifying. Apparently, the fateful dinner would replay over and over again in front of residents in phantom form, and both Alcide and Madeline's ghosts haunted the house. Some say that the image of the devil himself was embedded on the outside of the house and that blood would drip from his open mouth. Others insisted instead that the eerie similarity between the graven image and that of the earlier accounts of the devil of Bourbon Street. In time, though, 1319 St. Charles Avenue was demolished. Some say the devil finally came to collect his son. Some say the diabolical entity was slain. Others, however, say that the devil child merely moved. After all, New Orleans promises plenty of real estate for the damned.
You know, if there was a sculpture that was bleeding, rust.
Yeah. That would make sense. But yeah, they alluded to the fact that he ate them in the other part of the story, but it didn't come right out and say it. So I'm like, what happened? What are you alluding to?
Well, now we know what the little red demon cooks are cooking.
Yeah.
Long pig.
Your cheating lover.
I know there's a joke in there about extra spicy, and it's just not right.
Right?
It's right there. Oh my gosh. Okay. Next week is my responsibility. And I'm going to do something New Year's related.
Awesome.
I have no idea what I'm going to do just yet. I swear to you, in January, we actually have things, like from January to April, we have things very well planned out. But right now we're like, oh wait, let's push off everything we wanted to do because holidays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we want to make it like a little, not as heavy during the holidays was a big part of it. I mean, we could still have gone with some of the other things. Like, I am dying to talk to you about the Golden State Killer, but not yet.
Yes, April, by the way, is going to be, the whole month is going to be the Golden State Killer. And Kate's going to present that. Because it is a huge, huge case. And for those who are impatient and want to know now, there's a lot of really good stuff out there, including Michelle McNamara's I'll Be Gone in the Dark.
Mm-hmm.
There's the book, and then which streaming services was it?
HBO.
HBO did the movie,
mm-hmm.
or the television series, whatever it was they did.
Yeah, it was a little mini series.
Yeah, there's so much to that case that was huge. It's huge. Next week, I'm gonna do something New Year's related. We will see you guys in the same time, same place. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah.
We love you all.
We love you.
Okay, see you all next week. Mwah, 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 mwah. Oh, and remember, be a bitch.
Carry a big stick. And don't get murdered.
Don't get murdered. And don't freaking go naked on the rooftop to prove to your asshat lover that he should marry you. Walk away.
Because he's going to forget about you and play cards with the guys. And you're going to freeze to death. Especially if it's December in a very humid location where it rains all the time. Don't do that. It's a bad idea. And if you're dating the literal devil, don't cheat on him with someone else because he's going to eat you for dinner.
Your eternity's going to blow.
Mhm.
Okay, now bye for real.
Bye.
Bye.